Welcome into Action Island, presented by FanDuel. Time to talk a little Sunday night football. Cowboys, Eagles, a rematch. I am excited to help you guys build this parlay. Joined alongside Tim Kolonowski, prop bet guy, Brian Matthews. I'm Megan Payton. We got a lot to talk about, guys. If you're new to Action Island, it's the place to be for parlays. We love to find a way for you guys to get some big money here. This is a good game. You know, the primetime games have been back and forth this week or this year, that is. Now we're going to find a good way to get you guys some winners. Action Island is presented by FanDuel. Bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. This is for new users in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, if you're new to the show, it's pretty simple here. Prop bet guy, Tim and Brian, they're going to present two bets that they like for this game. We're all going to vote one on and vote one off. So at the end, you'll have a three-leg same game parlay. I'll throw in a bonus bet, but let us know what you guys like, because some people go with some different options. Make your own or tail ours. It's Philly. It's Dallas. Dallas looking to win this one. You know, by the way, I've been saying whoever wins this game is going to win the NFC East. And maybe that's a bold statement, but the Cowboys are looking for revenge. A lot of people are on Dallas. 14 straight home wins for the Cowboys. Can they keep it up? Prop bet guy, we're going to start with you. What are your two bets that you like for this one?
Ooh, pressure. I don't think I've let off this show.
I know, I don't
yet,
have you. I just realized that I wanted to go to Tim and I was like, wait, I think prop bet guy's starting the show.
All right,
so not complaining at all. Not complaining.
Yeah, Tim's been requesting this, by the way.
Fair enough. Well, glad to bat first here. All right. So my first option, I'm going with Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert to go over his receiving yard line of 35.5 yards. So yes, he's fresh off the injured list. He did get a full week of practice in. He does look primed to reclaim his near every down role in what's a pretty lean passing attack for the Eagles. I think he'll slot right back in next to Dallas, to AJ Brown, Devonta Smith as, that kind of number 3 option in there. So before his injury, he was looking great. He was over this line in 6 of 7 games, including 50 yards through the first 3 quarters against the Cowboys. That's who he injured himself against. So he came out, but still was able to hit that line relatively easily. Dallas's defense, they actually ranked 23rd in DVOA against tight ends per FTN fantasy, and that's the only position group that they rank outside of the top 10 against. So it's a definite deficiency for the Cowboys, and I think the Eagles will look to exploit that, which they have done in the Dan Quinn era, because Goddard's pushed past this line in 3 or 4 games against the Cowboys since Dan Quinn has taken over as the defensive play caller. So Goddard over 35.5 receiving yards. That's my first option here.
It feels like for some reason the Eagles just always do well with their tight ends against the Cowboys. And there are stats to back that up. 23rd in DVOA against tight ends. But really, when you watch the Cowboys, as hot as they are, and as much as I believe in this Dallas offense, the defense as a whole is struggling. There's a reason why this total's at 51.5. It's supposed to be a high scoring game. And it feels like a game in which we should really just be taking all the overs. So Dallas Goedert getting him at a line at 35.5. Like that's a pretty good number. What's your second option for this one?
Yeah, so going away from player props, which is always a scary territory for me, but I'm going with the Cowboys to win the first half outright, which you can get, I believe, at -130. Just to clarify, this is the 3-way line. We're building a parlay here. I don't want to deal with a potential tie or a potential push on this leg. So to get that awkwardness out of the way, we're going with the 3-way line here. Cowboys to win this outright. They've won the first half in 9 of 12 games. That's essentially mirroring their 9-3 record. They've been coming out firing at home. They score 24.5 first half points per game when they're playing in Jerry World. And the Eagles are going through it right now in the first half. I mean, they are dealing with the absolute gauntlet of a schedule right now. And it's really showed, especially in the first half. They've lost the first half in each of their last 5 games, despite winning 4 of those 5 games outright. They're going up against an offense that is just absolutely firing right now. And we saw what happened last week when they played the 49ers in a similar scenario. So, coming into Dallas, never easy. I like the Cowboys to kind of jump on the Eagles at home in the first half and to win it outright.
I like this. It's a good way to take a more simple bet as far as if you like Cowboys money line, but then kind of get that angle at first half and you'll get it at a little better odds. Look, this group's trying to win. If you can't tell, they are serious. They are locked in because our Thursday night crew yesterday just cashed in a parlay. So Action Island is hot right now, and prop bet guys saying, just play it simple. Cowboys to win the first half. I like where you're looking. Tim, Brian, let's vote on our two options. Goddard over or Cowboys first half? I'm going Cowboys. Where are you guys going? Oh, look at the handwriting, by the way, on both of this. You've got Dallas tight. Okay, Goddard for Brian. And I really like that, Tim. That's very thought out. You're pointing to Dallas. Being from the DFW area, I feel like you got the location pretty correct, and you have tight end in there. So it's tight end Dallas Goddard. He's going into
no
Dallas.
Confusion. No confusion at all.
Dallas and Dallas. All right, I'm with it. Honestly, I'm down for this game to just take all overs. So what was your thought in taking Goddard?
Well, look, I'm thinking here, first off, I have him in fantasy, so I'm hoping that he has a big day. Number two, look, I know you've been stressing how big of a game this is for Dallas and how serious they are, but for Philly here, I know they've been playing a gauntlet, but they're going to be up for a game against the Dallas Cowboys. And with Goddard being injured, earlier this season, I'm saying to myself, well, why play him? Even if he's hobbled, I think that they're going to it's going to be an all-out effort for a guy like this. Like, I don't think that this is going to be a decoy situation because, they go beat Dallas on Sunday night and they are in big time control of that division and, got a chance in the conference as well.
I agree. The Eagles have missed him. Like, that's for sure. And he went over in 6 of 7 games before going out with injury. And now they get him back. Everything on the injury front looks good. Everything you read said he was a full participant, expected to be 100%. It really feels like a pretty low number and kind of a buyback spot on a guy that's missed some time. So, of course, as much as I like Cowboys in the first half, I'm with you on the Goddard over. Brian, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, so two things. Like, I know I get the trend that Philly hasn't played well in the first half, but they didn't lose any of those games except last week. So I'm willing to say the reason I want to stay away from that one, go Dallas Goddard, is I think they can easily buck that trend, right? Like, you can rally after a bad loss like that, or, things can continue to spiral. And I just think the defensive pressure that Dallas applies, right? It's a lot of quick pressure. So Hurts is going to need to get rid of the ball. Like, they're not going to be able to do a lot of the things that they're used to. So the quick passes will become, Jalen Hurts' best friend. And I think you're not playing Dallas Goddard unless he's healthy. I mean, the decoy you got Jack Stoll. He can play at least, he's not Dallas Goddard, but I just think they're going to have to throw to him early and often with the amount of pressure. So between those things, give me Dallas Goddard.
Yep. It's a huge game for both.
Sorry, Megan, I just want to throw in one more thing. When you're betting first half winners, I always get nervous with the coin toss too. With who's going to be having the ball here more. I close my eyes, I can see this Philly team so often just taking the air out of the ball on like a 9-minute drive in the first half, and it's like, well, where's this going to come for the Cowboys now?
And it kind of is like that shootout mentality. If we're at a 51.5 point spread, you expect points, and we might be seeing a little bit of back and forth. So who's going to end up with the ball right before the half? And that might be who takes the lead at half. So Goddard feels like the safer bet, even though I feel like a lot of us are high on Dallas. We'll keep going and see if we are. So it's Goddard over 35.5 for the first leg. Tim, the first time we've worked together since you have presented the stash, we hear you are keeping it for the foreseeable future. Hopefully it brings some good juju, some good luck to this parlay. What are your bets you're looking at?
Yeah, for me, I mean, shockingly, I'm going to take an under here. Devontae Smith under 59.5 receiving yards. And look, this is why I wanted to go second, so I could start to play a correlation here. Because if we're playing Goddard over, some of that share is going away for somebody else. And I picked Smith here because in games where Goddard and Smith both played, Smith's targets were around 6.5 per game. But in games without Goddard, they jumped to over 9 targets per. I'm trying to see here. All right, now we got both in the lineup. I think Smith number goes down. In the games with Goddard as well, Smith went over this number only 3 times, and including going under this number in the last time they played Dallas. I know, Goddard was banged up, obviously, but I think we have to get some this is going to be a big, Sunday night game, all the eyeballs. There's going to be plenty of overs. So maybe I'm an idiot for trying to go contrarian here and outsmarting myself, but that's why I'm on Smith's under 59.5 receiving yards.
Well, I feel like I'm talking to a stranger, Tim. I don't know if I've ever seen you take an under, but I can buy into it. DeVonta Smith, he has been producing lately, but when you think of him, I mean, at least I do, I think of him as a guy that just goes back and forth. One game he can put up 100+ yards, and then one game he can have 40. Like, that's who DeVonta Smith is. And now you throw in Goddard in the mix. Like, that's where I think the Eagles are really going to attack this Cowboys weak part of their defense, which kind of leaves a little bit of issues for DeVonta Smith. And if the Eagles are going to try to put up a lot of points and move the ball down the field, they're going to go to their star receiver, which is AJ Brown. I like that. I'm slightly nervous because it feels new, but we've got a new look for the holidays and we've got new bets for the holidays. DeVonta Smith under his receiving yards. Tim, what's your second option?
Yeah, I'm done trying to be something I'm not. Here's an over. Cowboys team total over 27.5. A lot of this has to do with just the number itself. It's obviously below 28. Key number, get the half point here. If you look on the other side, Philly's team total, that's 24.5. So I really didn't want to mess with that. Instead, I'm going to go here with Dallas's over 27.5. There's no secret. Dallas recently, they've been putting up billions of points, averaging 30 since that ugly loss to San Francisco. And to me, when I think about the game script, I feel like regardless of the game script, we expect Dallas to score or at least move the ball, because what they're suited to do is chuck the rock. And even if they're up, they're not really a sit on the ball type of team, run it down your throat like Pollard. That ain't their MO. I think they're going to continue to chuck it. We've seen that in the games that they've played since that 49ers game. Obviously, they're number 1 in completion percentage. They're 5th in yards per pass, 10th in passes per game. We obviously know that the Eagles' weakness on defense is more in their pass defense and their secondary rather than their run defense. So give me the Cowboys over 27.5 total points.
That's more like it, Tim. That's music to my ears. That's the Tim that we know and love. Look, isn't it funny when you think back to preseason and how the Cowboys were just going to run the ball? And now that's just not existent at all. Look, the Cowboys are going to put up points a lot. Number 1 in points per game. This game is going to be high scoring. And like you said, Tim, I don't think it really matters what the game script is. We expect points. And the Eagles give up now the most receiving touchdowns. I'd expect a big day for Cowboys offense, and to get this at 27.5. When I looked at this, I thought for sure it would be at 30.5, and I was surprised to see it there. So I absolutely love where you're looking. 2 options. It's Tim's first, I'm going to call it first under Dallas Goddard, or DeVonta Smith under 59.5, or Cowboys over 27.5 team total. 3, 2, 1. Unders or overs? What are we going?
Wow. The old Tim is not dead.
Sorry, Tim. I think it just scared us all. I don't think we're not used to seeing you take unders. And how can we take an under in anything in this game? Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's prime time, but I feel like the trends are starting to change. We just saw it last night with the Patriots and Steelers. That overhit very quickly. And I feel like this line could be even higher than 51.5. Okay, so we're going with Dallas over the team total as our second option. Prop bet guy, why did you like this instead of DeVonta Smith under?
Yeah, as much as I'd like to support Tim on his first foray into unders, Dak's on fire right now, and you guys hit it on the head. They're passing the ball. They're not going to run much against this Eagles team. I think they're going to move the ball down the field at will against the secondary that just has not looked any shape or form like they did last year when they were one of the better secondaries in the NFL. They're on fire, and just looking at that under, as you guys know, I'm big. I think the Cowboys are going to come out firing in the first half, and I'm just a little worried about a backdoor cover when it comes to Smith and a receiving yard line. So I like the Cowboys here. I think they get 30+ on Sunday.
100%. As Tim said, since that loss to San Francisco, the Cowboys have averaged 30 points since then. 27.5. Lock it in. Brian, why did you like this instead of the DeVonta Smith line?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you, Megan. I think the guy grows a mustache, starts taking unders in a game with over 50 projected points. Like, I was waiting for a cigarette, mid-take here, but didn't get one. Look, either way, I mean, I'm going. I just think, look, DeVonta Smith has been on a roll, right? He's this is a matchup where I just think that's one of those where, yes, you can project it out, but yeah, if they start trailing, they're going to be throwing the ball. So you know what? I'm going to go with the team total. I think Dak's been rolling. I think we can all agree the offenses look great, and the weakness of the Eagles is their pass defense. So it kind of fits hand in hand. So yeah, that's why.
Keep it simple. This is a game that really, it doesn't need anything unique. It's going to be interesting as it is. So let's just come up with a pretty correlated, well thought out parlay, casually watch and say, oh, look, the parlay just hit. We've got 2 legs in there right now. It's Dallas Goedert over his receiving yards, and it's Cowboys over their team total at 27.5. Brian, we got to get a third leg in here. What are we looking at?
All right. First one, let's kind of go to the obvious here. CeeDee Lamb over 92.5 receiving yards.
Yes.
I mean, as of late, we've all seen CeeDee Lamb play. We've all seen, what Dak has been doing. The last time these two teams played earlier this year, 11 catches, 191 receiving yards. I think this is just another absolute smash spot. We talked about, how you beat the Eagles, and the Cowboys figured that out, and they threw early and often to CeeDee Lamb. So I think he had 19 targets. So look, I expect much of the same. They're at home playing on turf. There's no weather to worry about, especially, on a weekend like this where there is, a lot of games. So I love CeeDee Lamb, on the over 92.5 receiving yards. That'll be my first pick.
I like that a lot. I think it's easy for people to look back at that Cowboys-Eagles game in Philly and say, oh, well, the Eagles won. Cowboys can't stand up against good teams. But the Cowboys threw the ball a lot on the Eagles. They kept the game close, and they did that by getting CeeDee Lamb open all the time. And that's what's great about CeeDee. He can just beat guys. He's quick. He just breaks off defenders, and getting over 190 yards the first time they matched up in Philly. I can't imagine him getting less than that in Dallas. I love that. I just threw him in for an anytime touchdown parlay as well. 4 straight touchdowns for CeeDee, maybe another option for him as well. But I like that option. What's your second one for the third leg?
All right, so I think this was the actual first pick when we did our first Action Island. It was Jake Ferguson anytime touchdown.
Yes.
It was on the first, and he didn't hit.
Was.
And I remember it because after we were let's try, maybe we should go with a little bit safer pick because it was plus 390. And I was I love this, bro. The next week he scored, and I was like, come on. So look, it only feels right. I got to go back to it. Now, this isn't just a pick I'm going back to for nostalgia. In the first matchup, 7 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. So not only that, he leads the entire NFL among tight ends in red zone targets. So no, it's not Travis Kelce. Nope, not TJ Hawkinson. This is who we're talking about. So for me, this is a beautiful spot. Quick pressure is going to lead Dak to getting rid of the ball. Ferguson is just somebody that, Dak showed last year with Dalton Schultz. If he gets near the end zone, a lot of times it's going to the tight end, and it's continued this year. So, at plus 130, I'm going to go Jake Ferguson anytime touchdown with the second pick.
Yeah, let it be known. Brian was all over Ferguson before anyone else was. He
That's
threw
right.
out that, and it was Jake Ferguson? What?
Everyone
we're
was
betting
looking
on him?
Ooh, yeah, I'm not picking that. Yeah.
And now it's literally at plus 130. We know the Cowboys love to use their tight ends in the red zone. That was one of their strengths last year. And the question was, is it going to translate this year without their star tight end? And Jake Ferguson, he's done a really good job at stepping up. Got a touchdown last time these two teams plays. Plus 130. It does feel like a lock on this one. Okay, Ferguson, anytime touchdown to run it back for Brian, get his revenge on Ferguson finally, or CeeDee Lamb over 92.5 receiving yards. Let's vote. Three, two, one. The final leg of this parlay. Okay, I got ours. Lamb. Okay, what are? Oh, is that's got to be Jake Ferguson and going into
that's 87. That's 87. It's a little backwards, but that's 87.
No, that works out well.
Yeah.
Tim,
Sharpie,
we've missed your artwork. It's been a sec since we've gotten to do a show together, and I appreciate that. And to be honest, as I remember during this show that Brian had Ferguson in week 1, I started thinking, gosh, should I change that? But maybe that's on its own, a side bet. I'm with you, prop bet guy. I'm all over CeeDee Lamb this week. So I like that over. It feels like the safer bet. What was your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, he's just on fire. He's, I think, double-digit targets, and don't quote me, but maybe 5 of the last 7 games or something like that. Basically, ever since Jerry Jones was asked, hey, should you guys get CeeDee Lamb more involved? And he said, no, I want to throw to the tight ends more. they've started throwing to CeeDee Lamb a lot. I mean, look, he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's torched the Eagles before. The Cowboys have an offense that you can't just overcommit to not let CeeDee Lamb beat you because they have too many weapons, and he runs most of his routes out of the slot, which is a weak spot for the Eagles in general. So I think he crushes it. B-Man, I'm actually surprised you didn't go with the alt 100 plus line on this one, but I love it. I think he's getting triple digits.
I was going to, but I thought, let's try to get the win. I'm not going to be greedy. So
all good. I
know. If Jill, Nick, and Sean are watching right now, we feel like there's a little competition going in the Action Island committee. And now this team right here is saying, no. We're coming back. Our Sunday night parlay is ready to hit. So we're sticking just with the straight up 91.5, but 100 plus, I could buy it. Tim, I'm sorry. Your Ferguson bet, it's out. Why did you like that instead of CD?
Well, there's two reasons I didn't go with CD. Is number one, I grew a mustache now, so I don't take star receiver overs. Number two is I'm lazy and stupid, and so I usually don't get this actual parlay in until about 10 minutes before kickoff, and I'm afraid CeeDee Lamb's number will be 102 by then. So I was kind of hedging for that for myself. And then I like Ferguson because look, I'll admit when BMAT said Ferguson in the first week we did the show, I was fully deep into my college football prep, and I said, who the hell is Ferguson? Yeah. And I want to prove that I've done a 180. And Jake Ferguson, I am familiar with your game, and so that's why I'm full circle. If you can't beat him, join him. That's why I went with Ferguson.
Brian Matthews put Jake Ferguson on the map. Let's that be known in week one when no one was talking about him. Maybe add this as a fourth leg, but to keep things simple, to get a win, we're sticking with CD here. So let's recap what we got for our 3-leg same game parlay, and then we'll throw in a bonus bet. Our first leg is going to be Dallas Goedert over his receiving yard line at 35.5. Then we're throwing on the Cowboys team total over. I can't believe we're getting it at 27.5. And then, of course, we got our boy CeeDee Lamb over his receiving yard line at 92.5. And my bonus bet is going to be Dak Prescott over 295.5 passing yards. I'd honestly take this as an alt line too at 300. He's gone over it in 5 of the last 6. Last time he played the Eagles, he had over 370 yards. And the Eagles just keep allowing quarterbacks to throw on them. 4 of the last 5 have been 300 or more. 295. Take this one. That is my bonus bet. If you add that in, let's go over right now. If you just do the 3 of CD, Goddard, and over 27.5, you're at plus 398. And then if you want to throw in the passing yards of that, I believe it jumps it up to plus 900. It is loading right now, but we will tweet that out if that changes. Add it how you will. And let us know, guys, by the way, if you're tailing this one, if you want your own parlays, we're here to win bets at Action Island. The Sunday night crew is good to go, ready to cash in for Eagles, Cowboys. Tim, prop bet guy, Brian, good luck this weekend. We'll see you here next time on Action Island.